Ms. Daly had mentioned previously that her interview with investigators was recorded, but that she has not received a copy. It seems that that is a crucial piece of evidence. So first off, if there's agreement, I'd like the committee to order a copy of that recording from the government. So is there agreement to do that, Chair?
I'll just pause the clock here. You're asking for?
For agreement to order from the government a copy of the recording that's been referred to as part of the investigation involving Ms. Daly. That's been referred to frequently. I saw nods all around, I think so.
Mr. Genuis, yeah. I mean, if you're posing a motion, you can do that. Let's get the testimony from Mrs. Daly, and we can swing back around that. If you want to put forward a motion, you can. But
this is normal process. We've asked for a lot of documents.
Well, I see heads shaking all over the place.
From who? Who's shaking their heads?
Do you want a roll call vote, Mr. Genuis? You've got 4 minutes, 40 seconds in your time. Go.
Sure, we'll take a vote. I'm happy to take a vote.
Sorry, Chair, we don't know what we're voting on, so we'd love to see a motion.
Ms. Genuis, Ms. Khalid, there is no vote. I paused the clock. Mr. Genuis, you have the floor. If you're moving a motion to get documents, you can do so.
Okay. Is there agreement of the committee to order that recording? If there's agreement of the committee, we don't have a problem. But if
point of order, Chair, the witness has already volunteered to offer the information.
Exactly.
Yes. No, she doesn't. She doesn't have this. We're talking about the recording of her interview that she does not have that the government has. So we need to request this information from the government, not from her.
Well, Ms. Khalid, yes.
Sorry, Chair. I'm not exactly sure what recording we're talking about. So if Mr. Genuis can be more clear in a written motion, I'd be more than happy to review it and provide my support or the lack thereof.
Ms. Genuis,
but I do need to see it.
Yeah, Ms. Genuis, you do not have consent. You have 4 minutes and 30 seconds to go. Over to you, please.
Okay. With all due respect to my Liberal colleagues, I think it's pretty clear what recording we're talking about. It's been repeatedly referred to in these hearings, and Ms. Khalid doesn't want that produced. We'll certainly be following up on that. And she doesn't.
Sorry, Chair, I take exception to being named.
Okay, Mr. Genuis, stop the clock. That's Ms. Khalid. You can take exception. There's another government spot remaining.
Chair.
Ms. Khalid,
point of order, Chair.
What is your point of order?
Chair. My point of order is specifically with respect to following procedure that you have outlined and Mr. Genuis not continuing to follow it. And I would appreciate if you could ensure that Mr. Genuis does follow
that is not a point of order. I made my ruling. I think it was one the committee would broadly agree with. Mr. Genuis has the floor. If he wants, he can now. It's his comments, and your side will have an opportunity to respond to Mr. Genuis afterwards, and whoever does that can address it, and that person will have the floor, and I will do my best to keep Mr. Genuis from interrupting that person. Mr. Genuis, you have the floor for 4 minutes and just under 30 seconds, please.
Thank you, Chair. We have seen throughout how Ms. Khalid has been repeatedly unruly, trying to disrupt this investigation into Liberal corruption, and I think that's revealing. And I'll press on here. To Ms. Daly, you had talked about being under investigation. When did it become public that you were under investigation?
It never became public that I was under investigation.
I suppose until today.
You got it.
Okay. So the fact that Christian Firth would have named you in the House of Commons might suggest he had access to information about whether you were under investigation, or it might not. But it underlines sort of the strangeness of the fact that he named you a relatively more junior employee. Now, we've got an internal investigator at CBSA who's investigating the same situation. That internal investigator reports within the CBSI hierarchy and up through the minister. They're not independent, and that's one of the concerns that we've raised is the lack of independence for this investigation, that investigator reports to people who they might well potentially be investigating. Is this, just for clarity, is this the same person that's investigating you as well?
No. So there's two things. There was the witness request from Michel Lafleur, who was the CBSA, I think he's an executive director over there of the investigations unit. The second is another director of the Special Investigations Unit at PSPC. But the letter to me indicated both CBSA and PSPC of me not adhering to the procurement code of conduct for both agencies.
Okay, thank you. Now, just going back, Cameron McDonald's testimony last year, at the end of last year, he said that, quote, on August 28, 2023, I received a call from Mindone telling me that Minister Marco Mendicino wanted someone's head on a platter. Minister Mendicino wanted someone's head on a platter. Based on what we've heard today, Ms. Daly, it does look like someone has proposed your head to be the one on the platter. Now, for all I know, you may have done things wrong. I don't really know, but you are relatively junior compared to most of the officials that have come before this committee. And unlike many other officials, you were not given gifts, hospitality, anything like that. While Christian Firth lavished senior government officials who were involved in decision-making with all kinds of apparent gifts.
I said that earlier.
And presumably he had reasons for doing so, yet he gave you nothing, that you were the beneficiary of none of this hospitality. And then he, out of the blue, accuses you of being the one involved in discussing technical requirements on April 17th. The whole thing looks very odd, frankly, very rotten. We're continuing to try to get answers from this corruption scandal. Minister Mendicino wants a head on a platter. What we're looking for is answers. And yet people who are frank and try to give answers seem to be subject to retaliation. So in that light, Mr. Chair, I'd like to propose a motion in light of the fact that we haven't gotten agreement to do these things more consensually. The motion is that in light of the testimony and evidence provided by Diane Daly, the committee order the production of the recording, which Ms. Daly referenced in her testimony, and call the following people to appear before the committee on ArriveCAN, and particularly to respond to the new information Ms. Daly has presented: Lisanne Bolduc, Tom von Schoenberg, Ariane Reza, Christian Firth, and Aaron O'Gorman. So I've read that motion out, and I will send the slightly revised version.
Yeah, Mr. Genuis, could you send in that motion, and we will. I believe you already have a translated copy, but you have made some changes to it. Could you please send that in right away? And I'm going to send it right away, Ms. Shanahan, and I'm going to suspend. But send it right away, Ms. Genuis. I'm going to suspend for a few minutes.